Hello, it's Silas for DinoPC, and today we might just have something that will blow your mind. So yes, it's me, Silas, here today. Unfortunately, Dave has left us, and the baton has been passed to myself. It's going to be some big shoes to fill, and I hope I do a good job of it. A pretty sad time, really. But to brighten our day, the good people of Oculus have actually sent us a bit of a present, really. Something that has been out on the market for a little bit of time. I guess you guys can probably imagine what it might be. And I was told that they're using magic to send it to us. Oh my god, what the hell is this? Wait, this doesn't look right. It looks like Oculus may have sent us the wrong thing. I'm actually joking. This is basically the development kit. We've actually gone through pretty much every stage of the Oculus Rift, bar the first DK1 kit, to kind of check it out and see what it's about. Needless to say, we weren't super impressed. The resolution of the screen is not fantastic. Actually getting it to operate and run, it's a bit of a tricky thing to do. You have to play around with some development stuff and some sort of SPKs and bits and pieces to actually get it to function. Even then, the game support is a little bit limited. Needless to say, not an easy piece of kit to actually set up. With this guy here, you've got all the sort of typical things like sort of spare or sort of replacement lenses, which are quite cool. We've got sort of extra power adapters, more cables to have everything sort of plugged in, and of course the all-important sort of sensor that you put on top of your screen. After playing around with the development kit for a little bit, we actually had the lucky opportunity to play around with the sort of first batch that were released to people who had sort of funded and ordered the preliminary Oculus. That again was a big step forward in terms of what the actual kit included. It was a much more polished version of a virtual reality headset. But all the development kits aside, you're probably here to actually check out the real final polished version, which is also something that we're very excited about. And as I mentioned before, I believe the guys at Oculus were planning on actually having one sent out to us, but hopefully they don't mess it up this time like they did with the other one. Whoa, look at that! Not quite as surprising as the first time, but still surprising nonetheless. This is the actual retail version of the Oculus Rift that the good people at Oculus were kind enough to sort of send over to us to have a little play around with. So we're just going to do a quick unboxing, have a look at what the actual kit entails, and go from there. So to start things off, it's actually got this kind of quite nice elasticated handle. This is a bit of an improvement, granted. There's not as much kit as, say, something like the HTC Vive to actually have set up and transport around with you. This is a slightly easier thing to, I would imagine, kind of take to a mate's house and have a play around for just a day and sort of show it off, really. Plus points on that front that the box is actually something that you can transport the Oculus around in, which is cool. That's quite nice. So the actual front of the box opens up with magnets, which is pretty flashy. Everything laid out really nicely. We were very impressed with how well HTC had actually sort of boxed up the HTC Vive and how it actually seemed like you were taking apart like little presents out of one big box. This is not kind of the same because you're not getting tons and tons of kit with this one, but still pretty cool that they laid it out in a very sort of Apple-esque sort of presentation fashion that actually looks really cool. Very appealing to the end user. So inside the box, as it mentioned, what it appears that we have here is we've got the actual little remote. This guy here is just a piece of card actually sort of stuck to the lid of the box, so that's not sort of an instruction set or anything like that. It basically just tells you the website address that you'd have to go to actually download the original setup information. We have the remote here, which is held in with like little plastic clips. It also feels very premium, and this is going to be just for sort of browsing through media, essentially. If you're going to be using this for anything other than gaming, just sort of watching movies, or I mean, I guess you could listen to music. This is just going to be for kind of navigating through that kind of stuff. So yeah, we'll have to have a play around with this one later. Okay, so moving on, we've got the remote here. All looks very good. This is going to be the sensor. Not much has actually changed from the more polished version that we sort of checked out. The sensor itself seems to be exactly the same kind of thing. And that's going to be USB 3, I believe, from the blue connector. That seems to be what it suggests. Cable all nicely wrapped up. You're never going to get it as clean as it is there. There's a little lift-up compartment that we have here, which actually houses an Xbox One controller, which is quite nice. What else do we have? USB extension cable, which might be quite useful, just in case, I guess, if the sensor can't reach the back of your computer or something along those lines. We've also got some AA batteries here as well, which is quite nice. Some companies tend to overlook this. They'll sort of ship out a product that requires batteries, either AAA or AA, and they'll just assume that you have some or you'll be picking some up. But to have those with the controller is quite cool. Very good to get you set up and started straight away. We've also got the Xbox, like the wireless receiver for the Xbox One controller, which is pretty cool as well. I actually personally have been playing around with the Xbox One controller on my computer with the wireless receiver. Very happy with it. I think it works perfectly. We've also got this little stick. I'm not too sure what that might be. It might be for like adjusting something or prying something or writing something. I'm sure we'll find out what that is for when we actually get around to using the kit. We've got loads of instruction manuals here, health and safety warnings, we've got like, most of these actually seem to be instruction manuals for the Xbox One wireless receiver and controller, so I wouldn't imagine that you need to use any of these. I do find it quite ironic that they'll have like this one little piece of card that basically says go here to get it set up, and then you open the box up and it's full of other instruction manuals. Fills you with fear because it looks like it's way more complicated to set up. A screen cleaner and a few Oculus stickers, which is quite nice as well, but good looking stickers, so happy with those. And now it's the key piece of kit really. All of this other stuff is kind of just like little add-ons and accessories, but this guy housed in its own rather nice kind of like, it looks like it would actually be sort of vacuum formed sort of plastic housing to kind of keep it safe and so it doesn't get damaged. This, as I mentioned before, we had actually played around with the original version of the Oculus Rift, the first one to kind of come out that was the retail version. And essentially there's not much of a difference. Most of the things are going to be pretty much the same, the sort of ear cups, you've got kind of adjustment built onto there as well. So yeah, with this headset, again, we've got similar kind of connections. You've got USB and HDMI, and overall it looks like a much more usable sort of piece of kit really. The sort of thing I'd imagine I would happily sort of just pick up and put on my head, have a bit of a play around with VR. Even these sort of, the eyepieces aren't interchangeable, which can be seen as a good or a bad thing. With the DK2, they didn't really make that much of a difference in terms of how well you could see things. You just ended up getting very confused as to which ones that you were supposed to use. I found that pretty confusing myself, and inevitably you run into a situation where you do lose one of them, and that's pretty critical. Cool, so it's actually been really nice to check this out and unbox this today. I must say I'm feeling very excited to give this a bit more of a thorough kind of going over, but this is really just an unboxing, just to kind of go through what you can expect to be included in the retail version. So the main aim for us is to actually start testing more computers with all of the VR kit that's out there on the market. We have had the HTC Vive for a long time, and that's been brilliant for us actually kind of playing around with different configurations and finding out what works and what doesn't with VR as it's now entering more into the kind of retail marketplace. So it's very cool of the guys from Oculus to have sent us one of these versions for us to actually have to play around with, test some stuff with. We will have more videos coming out very shortly with us actually playing around with the HTC Vive and the Oculus, having a bit of a sort of side-by-side comparison, maybe seeing which is a bit more resource intensive, that sort of stuff. So yeah, we do have that on the way as well. Another thing we're trying to roll out a bit more alongside sort of testing with various different computers configurations that we ourselves put together is to actually make this a bit more available to the general public. So we're based in London. If you want to try this out, it's kind of reached that time where not many people are demoing this kind of kit anymore. They sort of assume that if you were really, really into playing around with something like the Oculus Rift, that you would actually go to a store and play with it for maybe like 10 or 15 minutes and see if it was something that you would actually like. So you are, of course, always welcome. Come down to our DinoPC headquarters if you're ever based in London to sort of play around with this sort of stuff also. Alongside that, this Saturday, actually, we're having, alongside sort of Bonfire Night, we're having a Bonfire LAN party. This will be there. The HTC Vive will also be there. So by all means, head over to our social media, check us out on Facebook, Twitter, head over to our website. There are loads of banners, lots more information on this event to be found there. So go and check it out, and you could have an opportunity to maybe play around with this guy. So I hope you enjoyed this little brief sort of unboxing. As I say, keep your eyes peeled for more content coming from ourselves. It's going to be more involved with our computers and some of the virtual reality kit that we have in-house as well. So do check out for that. Make sure you like and subscribe. Check out the comment section. Give us your opinion. Is this something that you would like to buy, or maybe would you be swinging more towards the HTC Vive for the kind of full motion control? Are you excited for the new Oculus controllers that are sort of on their way and will be coming out very shortly? And do you think that this will actually overtake the HTC Vive as an all-encompassing kind of VR solution when those controllers do arrive? So thanks a lot for checking out the video, guys. As always, it's been a pleasure providing you with some informative and hopefully some educational, even maybe some entertaining content, and I'll see you next time. So thanks a lot for checking out the video, guys. As always, it's been a pleasure providing you with some informative and hopefully some educational, even maybe some entertaining content, and I'll see you next time.